What is good, defenders, and welcome. It's playoff time, and that still means you get us for one more sleep. It's the night before the match, so you know what that means. We break down the matchup ahead, and this one, the beginning of the 2025 Audi MLS Cup Playoffs, and it's Austin FC coming to BMO Stadium. We just played them back on October 12th, lost 1-0, played them on March 15th, lost 1-0, and I'm here to say it's going to be real different. And who am I? Well, you know my voice. It's the Scarf, J.R. Liebert, coming to you from in front of this behind me right now in beautiful Lawndale, California, and across the interwebs from world-famous Philomonster Studios. I give you one, Christian, Philly Philemon.
It's been a minute, and what they say is true. Absence does make the heart grow fonder. With so many games throughout a season, I sometimes feel the burnout as opposed to the love for the club. I know, it's crazy, right? But even with a few days away, the love returns tenfold. And now, like you said, we embark upon a new season, playoff time, and we're hunting broccoli. Now, I know we are the black and gold, Scarf, but I took it upon myself to wear brown today. And would you like to know why, Scarf?
I would love to know why.
Because brown, and black for that matter, appear on broccoli as it starts to decay. And for Austin, or as we refer to them as FC Broccoli, see their crest if you still don't get it, decay begins. Decay to their 2025 season. Decay to their playoff chances, and more importantly, decay at their hopes of beating LAFC.
Listen, one can only hope, right, after the season that LAFC had, righting the ship, fixing the Olivier Giroud experience, and jettisoning that back to Liga 1. And now sunny days have been ahead for LAFC since the pairing of Denis Bouanga and Son Heung-min. It has been an incredible end of the season. 60 points for yet another time in our storied history, 4 times in 8 years, 65 goals scored, a plus 25 differential, second most goals in the West, second best differential in the West, third fewest goals allowed. And we're coming up against an Austin FC team that really doesn't score all that often. 37 goals is the fewest in the West and the fewest of any of the, I think every team pretty much makes it in the Audi MLS Cup playoffs at this point. The fewest of any team in the West or the East that made the playoffs. And yet, Philly, like we talked about, we've played them twice this season and lost 1-0 both times.
Look, I think the only team that scored less than them in the entirety of the league is DC United. And look, their run of form hasn't necessarily been that great either. Talk about the success we've had. Yeah, we're 6-1-1 in our last 8 games. Austin's 4-4-0 over their last 8. And honestly, only 1 win in their last 5. And like you said, that was against us. They don't score, but defensively, they're okay. They've got a solid keeper in that of Brad Stuver, and we've got 2 players that have combined to score 20 goals in 10 matches since this man's arrived, this man being Sonny in August. We're kicking some behind, and historically, we are a much better team against Austin than Austin is against us, despite the fact that they swept the regular season. And hold that thought, because it's going to be towards the end. I have another thought on that. But they're going to be tough. It's everything that happened at the during the regular season. It's clean slate. Everybody now has a fresh opportunity to capitalize, and capitalize, they will in this best of 3, which I still hate the way this playoff format has been created. If we, God forbid, happen to not win on the road after winning at home, I will be sickened at the idea of having my bank account milked again for the same freaking team. I hate this. Don Garber, you've done a great job at building the league, soccer-specific stadiums, and obviously making money. But at the expense of what? Now, all of us. I hate best of 3 more than anything as far as this playoff format is concerned.
But Philly, how else can you squeeze another game out of Lionel Messi over there in Miami? And now, you know what? The cash cow includes Son Heung-min. That's the case. Thomas Muller and some other big names that we hear rumored to be coming to MLS could Miami be the landing spot for Neymar? Oh my goodness, who knows? It's silly season once the season ends, that's for sure. Look, we have success against Austin at BMO Stadium. 4 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. We knocked them out of the playoffs in 2022, that big 3-0 win. But those 3 goals were scored by Chicho Arango, Mahala Opoku, and Maximiliano Urruti, who didn't even play for us. It was an own goal. In fact, Philly, from that 3-0 win in 2022, only Denis Bouanga, Ryan Hollingshead, and Steve Cherundolo are still on LAFC. Ilie Sanchez just switched sides. It's been a long time since that match, and this is going to be a fun one. Look, they've got nothing to lose, everything to play for, Philly. And like we've talked about over and over again, LAFC, especially now that we have Sonny, will have the target on their backs every single match.
Well, we can't move on. You already talked about it, the LAFC players that were on the pitch in that game against Austin in 2022. They've got 5 players coming back from that squad. And it all starts with their keeper, Brad Stuver. Owen Wolf, at that point, I think he just started hitting puberty when he was on the roster back then. Danny Pereira, Julio Cascante, John Gallagher. So they've got some players that still remember how badly we embarrassed them in the Western Conference Finals. So I had to throw that on there as well.
Yeah, look, this is a team that has memories of LAFC knocking them out of Leagues Cup, knocking them out of MLS Cup playoffs. And we've had their run. Was it 7-4-2?
7-4-2, correct.
Over the course of those, 13 matches that we've played them. Look, a couple guys to look out for that Philly and I aren't going to be talking about. Want to mention first and foremost, Mirto Uzuni, who missed the last match against LAFC on international duty. He has 9 goals and 3 assists for them in limited minutes, and he has been very, very good. And Osman Bukhari, who was not good against us in the last match, 5 goals and 6 assists on the season. We're going to talk about some of their other stars, players to watch, and keys to the match for Nico, don't call me Emilio Estevez's boys, and LAFC. So, Philly, why don't we get to the players to watch?
Yeah, well, you've got the control of the comms, so let's go to the videotape.
Let's do it indeed. On the back line, I'm looking at you, Ryan Porteous. That's right, not Son Heung-min. I'm going with Ryan Porteous, and I'll tell you why. Ryan Porteous has been the de facto leader on the back line. It has been a revelation to see how Ryan Porteous has taken the role of a Jesus Murillo and Aaron Long, one of those guys on the back line who just takes charge. And I love the way he plays. He plays with, no, not blame scarf. He plays with a physicality. He plays with a composure. And he plays with that sense. I mean, he's coming from Europe into MLS and has a very good sense of how to play physical while still being a presence on the back line, on corner kicks. We are going to need his defense more than anything. And I wouldn't be surprised if LAFC figures out a way to draw something up. Maybe it's a decoy play with Nkosi Tafari, Porteous getting into the box, something happening fun. But he has been a menace in the box and has played very, very well for us. And for Austin, look, there was one guy that we had to watch out for in the last match, and he came back to bite us in the 83rd minute. Owen Wolf is as good as it comes when it comes to young players. Number 4 on the 22 under 22 list, according to Major League Soccer, 1 spot ahead, of course, of the mercurially talented, albeit frustrating, David Martinez. And he has looked every bit the part. 7 goals, 10 assists on the season, according to Transfer Market, because you know what? They keep it real and keep stats like adults, unlike MLS, who uses that stupid secondary assist. And look, he's been raised by a coach and a former player and is as good as it gets for them. So maybe he'll be able to help out Mirto Uzuni and Osman Bukhari. He wasn't able to do anything for Bukhari last time, but he did it all himself in the 1-0 win. I've got Owen Wolf for Austin. I've got Ryan Porteous for LAFC.
Cool. I like it. Didn't really have to stretch too far for that one, in my opinion. And it's the playoffs. We shouldn't really have to stretch too hard for anything. I'm going to start with my player to watch for Austin. For a team that doesn't score very many goals, I'm not really worried about any of their goal scorers. But where they do succeed very much is defensively. And if there's going to be anybody that's going to get a lot of love and possibly a lot of touches on his team, it's going to be Brad Stuver, the goalkeeping / defensive backbone. His role is what's helped Austin stay in the hunt with as few goals as they have managed to score this season. He's played practically every minute of every match in Austin's entire 5-year history. I mean, he's missed 4 out of 170 regular season games going back to 2021. And this year alone, man, what a year. I mean, this is the best year he's ever had. MLS All-Star, leading the league in saves. And while that's a great stat in some cases, it also tells me that your backline sucks. But at the same time, he's still kept Austin in so many games. He's fantastic when it comes to defending set pieces. Austin's only conceded 2 goals on corner kicks and just 2 on free kicks. 4 goals off of set pieces. That's pretty damn good stuff. That's why I'm keeping an eye on Brad Stuver, the goalkeeper, the man in between the sticks for FC Broccoli. And look, it's prime time, baby. And while it's easy to pick Sonny because he's as low-hanging fruit as you can possibly imagine, because the guy's a phenom, or beyond lucky to have him, I'm still going to stick with LAFC's all-time leading scorer, Denis Bouanga. He's central to the attack. He's going to create problems for any opponent's defense right from the start. And he's going to play all 90 minutes. Already talked about how he's the leader in all goals throughout everything for LAFC. He's also the leader in postseason goals. 8 goals in 12 playoff games for LAFC. More playoff goals than any active MLS player has scored since the start of 2018. And let's remind you, the first player in league history to record 3 straight 20-goal seasons. The kid's a star. I don't need to tell you that. Just check his stats. And for anyone saying he's overrated, get bent, because that's just stupid talk. He shines bright when he's got something to prove, and that dates all the way back to when he scored that goal at Providence Park in 2022 to help us clinch the Supporter Shield. Denny is the man, and on this stage, he will shine the brightest.
And Philly, that next goal will be number 100 for Denis Bouanga, sitting on 99 for LAFC. I love talking all things entertainment. Goes, he's all right. Yeah, turns out he's all right. That's for sure. Look, Denis wants number 100. He wanted to get number 100 in front of his fans, and Sonny wanted it for him, told him to not pass the damn ball to shoot. So we'll see if he's able to get 100 in this one. Look, the bottom line is this. LAFC gave up a goal off of a set piece. And what LAFC needs to do more than anything now come playoff time is own the set pieces. Set piece supremacy is top of the list. We know we will generate offense, but when you are having trouble breaking down a low block, the way LAFC has had a little bit of trouble in the past breaking down a club like Austin, then the best way to generate offense out of nothing is a set piece. And that's the frustrating part for LAFC. It feels like it's been a while since we scored a set piece goal. And yes, we know Sonny has the AT&T goal of the year with his set piece heroics. Kind of a soft goal of the year.
I don't agree with that, man. No, not at all.
Look, my thing is this. It shouldn't be the fans voting for the goal of the year, or at least give them something else to vote for. The players, the coaches, the front office, they should be voting for goal of the year because it becomes a popularity contest, which is why I'm shocked Messi didn't win it. But hey, we've got the bell of the ball with Sonny. Either way, I really do think LAFC needs to try and manufacture something off of a set piece, and we need to own the defensive area for set pieces as well. We cannot afford to give up another set piece goal. We have seen LAFC time and time again get victimized by set piece goals in playoffs. And of course, obviously, you want to talk about low-hanging fruit in terms of keys to the game. How about finish your damn chances? When we have them, finish them. Put them in the back of the net, because Philly, you and I talk about this all the time. It's the Cinderella stories and March Madness that are allowed to happen because these teams are let to hang around. We cannot let Austin hang around. The more they feel like they are in it with us, the more it becomes dangerous to let these lesser teams hang around with you. So we need to put it away and put our chances away early.
I agree. And that's a beautiful segue going into my key of the game. It's assert yourself early. Between Denny and between Son, we've got all the attacking firepower in the world. And by getting ahead of the game early, it's going to force Austin to chase. We haven't scored a goal against Austin all season. So for us to get on the boards early and often, I think that's going to be a huge part in absolutely shutting the door on them. We know they're not a good scoring team. We've alluded to it a couple of times. Fewest goals in the West at 37, and only DC United has scored less with 30. LAFC scored nearly 30 more than that at 65, I think. The fourth highest total in MLS, and then second in the West only to Vancouver. We could exploit Austin's low scoring rate by attacking because they've struggled to score consistently. If we could suffocate their chances and hit on transition, I think we'll be okay. You talk about set piece supremacy. I get it. But it's going to be really tough to score against a team that's only conceded twice off of corners and twice off of free kicks. And that really just boils down to managing nerves. I mean, playoff intensity is going to raise the stakes. But going to your point, we complete our chances and we operate defensively in the most solid way that we can, not conceding on set pieces. I think we have a great shot at winning this game. But it all happens with us asserting ourselves early.
A great shot. Not only do I think we have a great shot, I think LAFC does come out and announce their presence with authority. I think it's a 3-1 victory. It wouldn't surprise me even. I'm being a little soft on this one. I really thought it'd be 3-0, but I guess, want to give Austin the benefit of the doubt. They do have a couple of players who I feel like can cause some trouble. But look, I think LAFC has everything that they need, and I think they will indeed get a goal early on that low block and force Austin to open up a little bit. We never forced Austin to open things up in that last match, so they were able to stay compact over the course of the entire 80-plus minutes until they scored with Owen Wolff, and then they became even more compact. Look, last match, Austin generated 3 shots with only 2 on target. I absolutely think LAFC is going to hold them to something similar to that in this one, although, again, they will have Mirto Uzuni, who they didn't have in that last match. But I'm not expecting a barrage of shots from Austin. I think that if we get the match that we need from our midfield and Sonny and Denis are able to start connecting early, like we have seen them do in several matches, I think it's all over but the shouting, and LAFC comes away with this one with a relatively pedestrian 3-1 victory.
I like it, and I prefer your score line over mine, to be completely honest with you. Look, I expect a competitive bout, but LAFC edges out when it comes to attacking depth, and obviously our past dominance, the way we've been scoring goals this season, that's going to give us an advantage. Austin's going to make it tough. But I think likely we're going to have under 3 goals in this match, but LAFC is going to get over that line. It's going to be 2-1 in favor of the black and gold. And look, in a season where Austin has struggled to score goals, it blows my mind that they swept us during the regular season. Albeit first game was in March, completely different lineup. And the last game we were missing personnel as well. But still, 36 goals for the lowest in the West. You already have heard me say that. It blows my mind. But now, since I'm all about regurgitating cliches, and it started with me on the pod, in the beginning of the pod saying absence makes the heart grow fonder. Let's gurgle out another one. History repeats itself. The last time Austin swept us during the regular season was 2022. And remind me what happened in 2022.
I think we did okay in that one.
We did. Now, granted, it was in the Western Conference Finals, and that's different. But in this case, we're going to have history on our side yet again. We have home field. And while Austin may have beaten us at home, this time, this atmosphere, this game, this lineup, this team will ensure us of a couple of things. One is that Will Ferrell's a better actor than Matthew McConaughey. All right. That's a fun shot fired. And LAFC's a better team than Austin is. The stars at night are big and bright, but not deep in the heart of Texas, but in downtown Los Angeles. And then for game 2, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen deep in the heart of Texas. And that's heartbreak and heart attacks, because there's no way there's no way we're walking out of round 1 with any blemishes. There's no way we're chopping off the head of that broccoli immediately onto round 2, hopefully. And it doesn't look good this way. Hopefully at home, but it doesn't seem that way with how the games have been going.
Listen, every team that needed to win essentially to stay ahead of us and host matches later in the playoffs did. It's been a fun one. It's almost gone completely to chalk. I believe your former boys, the Pigeons, were the only road team to get a victory in round 1 so far. Look, it's also silly season, right? It's playoffs. Anything can happen. We have seen matches where we get cry-locked or we pull a rabbit out of a hat late with Gareth Bale. Look, this is what I love about the playoffs. Every team, you get their best effort. We saw a great effort from Chicago Fire. We've seen some really fun playoff matches. LAFC just needs to play the way that they know how to play and hold serve. I think if we win, the problem with winning 2-0, 3-0, 3-1, 4-0, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Right? There's no aggregate. There's no, there was a home and away, or away goals matter. It's either you win or you lose, and you play either 2 or 3 matches. And it's a ridiculous way to start the playoffs. At least all of the other rounds are just single elimination. But I think LAFC is going to hit the ground running. I think Denis and Sonny are going to put the team on their back. I think players like Ryan Hollingshead and Sergi Palencia and Ryan Porteous are going to put the defensive load on their back. And we're going to see some good games from guys like Eddie Segura and Timothy Tillman, guys who we really need to step up. And come playoff time, I absolutely believe that LAFC is not just a contender for MLS Cup. I think you need to look at us as one of the clear favorites based on the offensive firepower and the way our defense has been playing.
I mean, I got nothing more to add to that. I was thinking about fun cliche ways or to turn what Matthew McConaughey would say in a movie and turn it around against Austin FC. I didn't come up with anything on the spot, which kind of sucks. I'll save that for our recap pod. But I'm excited. Finally get to go back to BMO. Finally get to see you. I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. There's been some chatter in the chat about what happened to the Rapids recap. That's a great question. Y'all know I wasn't around because I was calling games. We should probably figure that one out at some point. Maybe.
Listen, I thought one Chris Lafferty was going to do it, and then I don't know what happened after that. I was in
Did you
DC.
give him the logins?
I gave him everything.
Okay, well, then I don't know. Either way, we apologize, defenders. It's obviously not like us to miss a pod. It was circumstances that were beyond our controls. But we're here. We're going to be around for the entirety of the playoffs, and it's going to be a deep run. And we're going to continue to enjoy LAFC's run and conquest to another MLS Cup final and another trophy in our case. And that's the bottom line, because Philly 316 said so.
And by the way, we're number 3 because Galaxy won. How was that, by the way? That was fun. We should talk about that on the pod, too. Either way, I was in D.C. Philly was calling games all over the place, but we're back. And it's playoff time, y'all. And we can't wait to come back with you on Thursday for our recap pod of what we are predicting will be an LAFC victory to kick off this best-of-3 series in round 1 of the 2025 Audi MLS Cup Playoffs. And you know how we like to end each and every one of these things as Ruben plays us off.
Bye-bye.